Okay.
What's up, bro?
baby? Hey.
How's it going?
Good, man. I'm feeling a lot more energy this week.
I
than
psyched
last
myself up to get super.
week. Yeah. No, last week.
Super
bro,
energetic.
I swear to God, I snoozed through the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Bro, I was falling asleep, struggling to stay awake. I've actually gotten sleep the last few days, so
There
I'm
you
awake.
go. That'll do it.
Yeah,
That'll
absolutely.
do it. I felt a little bit. I never do this. So I got home from work. Remember I told you I was in practice with Jacob to take advantage of the weather. Well, he's knocked out. Okay, little PM power nap. That's 3 hours.
Bro, the days of just napping in the middle of the day
For real.
randomly. Jeez,
So-
man.
I see him sleeping. I'm like, I'm just gonna go for my run. Remember I told you I was gonna skip my run today, make it up another day, or whatever. So Christy sees me and she's like, "Are you gonna go practice?" And I go, "Nope. Why not?" "Well, he's sleeping. Why don't you wake him up?" I'm like, I don't really feel like arguing with anybody right now. You know what I'm saying?
Because you already know that fight's coming.
So,
And he's going to be pissed off when you get out there anyway.
and that attitude's gonna
There
probably
you
suck, and which I get it.
Mhm.
And so, but I try. So I'm like, Jacob, wake up, Jacob. I'm like, you know what? I'll go for my run. Well, anyway, so I get to the LA. Had a good little run of luck with parking. I get that first spot for the past 3-4 days. All right,
Well,
but
let
anyway.
me tell you, I got that gift. There's a gift to it.
But listen, so I park. Dude, I sit in my car 5 minutes debating. I really wasn't in the mood. Like, not even a little bit. I'm like, fuck, I'm already here. I can't not do it.
Right.
I'm like, what can I put on YouTube to get me kind of pumped up? What, I'm like, you know what, stop being a bitch. Get up, get the earbuds on,
Oh, yeah.
and get going. Which, by the way, like I said, I'm over the shit where I'm in the zone. Now I'm feeling good. Now I got a groove going. I'm doing my 3 miles. There's nobody around me, bro. Like, nobody. And I get the old guy, because I'll put the mask, but I bring it down so I can breathe.
Yeah.
And I get the old guy that works at LA, and he walks in front of the gym. He's like, I'm like, you realize you just got closer to me than anybody has, closer to me than anyone's been, right? And he's like, put it up. I'm like, fuck, bro. And I'm like, I had to end up the freaking run with, it's all sweaty. So now I'm like,
Of course.
so I'm like, fuck LA for today. I mean, I got it done, but it's just annoying, bro. Like, you guys closed off all this stuff. Why the hell do I get it when you're moving around? When they had that rule, no problem. When I move from one station to the next station or whatever, which I've been just going to run. Once I'm in my spot, I'm clear way more than 6 feet. Leave me alone and let me do my thing.
Absolutely.
But anyway, but yeah, man. So I guess that gave me a little boost, and I told myself when I get home, I took a shower. Good mood today. Don't be a Debbie Downer on the once a week little show.
Well, speaking actually, because I know we talked from the last week's show, you had forgotten to mention something that an anniversary that just passed that was pretty important, and it has to go with the exercising.
Yeah, man. Last Tuesday, and this is the issue when we talked about it. Sometimes we say, oh, we gotta remember to hit this, and we'll make notes, and we'll put little, don't forget this. And sometimes we just want to wing it.
A lot of times we just go.
We just wing it, which is more natural and stuff like that. But I did one last time because I had made other videos. So last Tuesday was July 28th.
Yeah.
And it was 6 months to the day of my surgery.
Man,
so instead of making
6 months, I can't believe it's been 6 months,
dude.
man.
So instead of just making like a separate, video that I've done a couple of how it was going, I just wanted to talk about it on the show or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have felt fantastic, and then, I got the little scar there, and I told you before, I hope it never goes away. I always want to see a little bit of it.
I don't think it'll ever completely go away.
And I hope not.
Even if it's healed nicely.
And I hope not.
You'll always have a little red mark.
I want to always remember, albeit for a short period of time, I want to remember what it felt like not being able to do the things that I enjoy, so that I don't take things, not that I ever did.
But you don't want to take things for granted.
Don't take
and
things
we all
for
do
granted.
it. Because the thing is, everybody, think about it, we take for granted every day. And not that everybody does it. You take for granted that you can get up in the morning, that you can go take a shower, that you can just, and without even thinking about it, obviously walking up and down the stairs, basic stuff like that. Obviously the training that we do every day, that stuff. And it's funny because as you talked about having 6 months since your surgery, when I had this my left knee scoped. This is before I was in the academy and all that stuff, but it was from playing a lot of football and all that other stuff.
Right.
Non-contact injury, knee just went out of me. Couldn't straighten it, so they had to do I wouldn't say emergency surgery, but basically when I went and saw him, he's like, we need to do this like tomorrow, because the cartilage was so shredded up in there, I couldn't even straighten the leg. A lot of pain. So anyway, I was on crutches for 6 weeks after that. So muscle atrophy, completely lost the whole leg. I mean, it looked like my wrist, the whole thing. I
got a pretty strong wrist there, Joe.
Well, I'm just saying, I would still, and it was funny because 6 weeks I couldn't. At the time, I had a 350Z, and it was manual, so I couldn't even drive. They didn't want me driving, so I couldn't drive. So if I had to go to a doctor's appointment and stuff, I used to have to take my dad's truck, which was automatic back then. So it was the only way I could do it. Mm-hmm. So just not even driving a car, but going to therapy and all that other stuff, which I did it religiously. Going to the gym still on crutches.
Yep.
So, once I got off, of course, I was wobbly as hell, didn't trust the knee for a long time. Even though I was 100% healed, they would buckle on me sometimes, stepping off of a curb. So I remember vividly just to go to the bathroom. Like, you'd be laying in bed and, legs propped up, and I'm just like, fuck, man, I don't feel like getting up.
Oh, yeah.
This is such a pain in the ass. Just to forget the bathroom, even trying to take a shower. I'm like, it was just a chore. So, and at the time, I think I was, to help take care of me, I stayed with my parents while I was on crutches because I had no way I couldn't get upstairs or anything. And they have a single floor.
Right.
So it was just easier, but it didn't matter. It sucked. So saying that we take for granted that we do everyday things, you don't realize what you have until you can't do it.
Yep.
So.
And I tell the kids, we don't get too religious in this house. I mean, obviously they know how I feel about God, and I thank God for everything, and I ask God to forgive me for my mishaps and all these things. But I always tell them, thank God that you have two arms, that you have, again, we don't go to church, we don't do the crazy, I mean, we pray before dinner and all that kind of stuff most of the times. But as you're getting older now, be grateful for what you got. Thank God for your two legs, your 2 feet. I mean, you see damn near every day somebody who has some type of issue you don't have. Mm-hmm. And so be grateful for those things.
Right.
And even as adults, we sometimes, without even thinking about it, we take things for granted, and we're very hard on ourselves. I mean, I've told you before where, I'm back training. I don't know if my strength is 100% back where it was because we're in a limited setting and you're working out here. It's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying?
Even if you never had that surgery, we would still not be where we normally would be.
Right. So, but grateful as shit about where I'm at there. The running, I told you, pretty soon, if COVID allows, is the next half marathon. Unbelievable that's coming up again.
Are they going to do it?
I don't know. I have a feeling they'll probably do some kind of virtual stuff. So we'll see. But point being, like, as far as for my normal runs, my cardio is where it was.
Yeah.
The only thing that's still kind of a question mark is jiu-jitsu. And there's days we've talked about where I'm like, yeah, I know. There's days that I'm like, you know what, get the fuck over it. And, like I was told before, there's so many things I can do. Like, if you told me, number one, just by having to do it, if they told me, look, you can't be a cop no more, dude, that would be devastating. But once we get past that, if they told me, look, you can't lift like you've been lifting ever, that would be devastating. You can't run. That'd be devastating. You can't play baseball in your Sunday has-been league.
I know.
That would be, you know what I'm saying? And so I think about those things like, okay, look, the jiu-jitsu is but then you know how my mind works, man, because I'm like, it's just one thing I can't do. But then I'm like, well, I need it for the job. What if this happens? And what if I need it? So, you know what I'm saying? Point being, I'm so damn grateful. And will I ever do it again? I don't know. I can tell you right now, and I struggle with it because, I always tell you, I'm trying not even think about it right now. And schedule-wise right now, it wouldn't be good. Financially right now, probably wouldn't be smart. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of...
It gives you lots of reasons to just kind of... I get it.
And, like, with your knee, I mean, it was spine surgery, and as great as I'm feeling, you know how surgeries go. Technology is unbelievable. It was, for those that don't know and care, it was a Mobi-C artificial disc that I have. Dude, it was surgery. It was spine surgery.
They still got.
I would never be the same in that regard. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They still got to cut you.
And even physically, if I'm better than ever, this is a hurdle too. I told you about one time.
It took me a
kind
long
of horse
time.
playing with my wife. Just kind of.
That's right.
And afterwards, I was like, oh my God.
Maybe I did something.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah. For real. So
I know. Yeah, the mental hurdle. I mean, you see it with NFL players, and I only say NFL because they're the ones that have the most common knee surgeries all the time.
Right.
It takes them, even when they come back from an ACL tear, and they've been all off season, they've been training and all this other stuff, and it still takes them another football season without getting injured to get over that. And I remember for me, it was mental. Even though there was nothing wrong with the knee structurally, I could play and I would still wear the brace, and I didn't need it. And until one day I realized I used to keep it loose, hanging down on my ankle while warming up. This is during our adult, competitive softball, and throwing, and then before the games I would pull it up, tighten it up, and then I would play. This is the first few months of this, until one day I didn't realize I had it down on the thing. We're throwing around, and we start playing, and I had been sprinting, and I had completely forgot to even pull it up, and that's when I realized I was done with the brace.
Yeah.
I literally took the brace off, and I was done, and then I went on for years through the academy, went years and years and years. It was like I never had surgery until, of course, I tore it again. Yeah. Now, it's a little different now. It's not the same tear. I have a flap now because I know my knee was bothering me a bit.
Yeah.
I can still lift and run, and it doesn't do that, but they do want to go in and trim it. I'm just like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. I just don't want to, because the thing is, I know it's not the same as last time. I won't have to go on crutches for 6 weeks, and it's a mental thing. I'm like, man, I don't want to do that yet because I'm still going to have to do rehab. Even if it's for, doc said maybe a month, and I still don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't feel like doing that. So, it's just one of those things. But it's good to see, man. 6 months. I mean, I've seen your progression from the time that, you had first gotten done to, you saying, hey, I was able to do this today. And of course, you were out, of work for a while. And then when
I was out of work 3 months, I went back to work April 20, exactly 3 months post surgery.
Which was, and obviously
But even before that, we were still working out. So you kind of saw, because I mean, as soon as I was pretty much already starting, you started to come over.
Exactly. And then of course at the same time you were recovering, all this COVID garbage came, and it was just a weird.
But you've seen the progression too, because I can tell you, and I've said it before, the first day I did anything physical, as far as aside from walking, I tried doing 2 push-ups, and that was. I know, I didn't Joe. It didn't go well. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's one of those things, man.
But I've always kept a pretty positive mindset where it was just another hurdle. I go, okay, I can't do 2 push-ups perfectly right now, but I'll get, and little by little. I mean, I still have on the phone video, and I don't want to delete it, despite the fact I've had to delete a lot of shit because of this YouTube stuff, and we need another camera. But one of the first days that I was doing like incline presses. Dude, and I was doing like what Jacob's doing now, like just the tens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But baby step in it. So I'm grateful, and the jiu-jitsu thing, we'll leave it open-ended, man. We'll see. For right now, I'm good.
I know.
I'm good.
Just don't ever think you quit.
That's a whole nother story.
And that's why I'm messing with you, because I know you keep saying that, and I keep telling you no.
Yeah, now I'm getting
We're
upset.
always I know. We're always gonna butt heads on it.
You push the button. Tell me about your weekend, bro.
Oh yeah,
Disney. We spoke about it last week.
Yeah, actually I did. It was funny because I said I would never go during this whole thing. And
then we spoke last week about how you were going to go.
And yes.
And you went.
And I went. And it was a good experience. The only downside, obviously, as you know, right now it's currently about 150 degrees during the day here in South Florida. So yeah, it's super hot. I mean, it's just one of those things you're going to deal with. But what sucks is wearing the mask during that heat. It beats you up. But I will tell you, and we've talked about this, and we make jokes about it, going to Publix and dealing with just people in general. I felt much safer there than I ever do going to Publix down the street from my house.
Of course.
And it's not even close. So the procedures and policies and stuff that they have in place and the way they follow everything, it's actually really well. And I remember I showed you video. I mean, it's empty. And when I say it's empty, it's just... There's like nobody there.
That video you sent me, it looked like they called a code red and y'all didn't get the memo.
Yeah, there was nobody there. I was like, holy cow, there's nobody here.
And if it wasn't for the COVID thing and you just had that park like that, you'd be like, this is the best time ever.
Exactly. The only thing that sucks, obviously, wearing the mask, because it's okay for a while, but if it was a cooler time of year, you could be there 12 hours. The problem is, man, we would go when they would open, and they open much later than they normally would. Normally they're open at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And sometimes they even do magic hours where it's even earlier. It's like 7, but they're opening at like 10 in the morning. So and they're closing at like 7 when normally they would close at 11 or 12. So it's a huge difference. But there also was some things inside. I mean, obviously when you first get there, they're checking everybody's temps. Check. I mean, it's like instantaneous though. They're like, you're good. I was like, man, I wonder if somebody would drive all the way here and then they'd be like, you're not good. So you're like, what the?
I get they have to do something. We've spoken about it before. The temperature thing. Do they understand?
I know.
I feel like sometimes it's one of those things, and depending on the company, maybe it is. Depending on the agency, maybe it is. It's something like, you have to do this just to say we did something. Just say we screened somebody.
Agreed. But I will tell you, their procedures changed, and I go a lot. So their procedures were a little bit different as far as the way, usually they have lines. Anyone that doesn't have a bag, you go on this line.
Right.
And then they just check you they wand you, whatever. And then this line's for bags. So this one it was, leave your cell phone and everything in your pockets. Take anything metal out of the bags. And then put those in those, the plastic trays they slide through. And that's it. And then they go through, and I guess these scanners.
So Joey's like, here's my Glock. Here's
my
Smith.
I went through. I'm like,
here's my bazooka.
But I'm like, they didn't even check me. What if I had something? So I'm like, man. But whatever. You still have to walk through these detectors. So obviously, if I had something, it would have went off.
Right.
But outside of that, the way they have everything marked off, and man, I mean, it was everywhere. Arrows, bars that say stand here, and everything was 6 feet apart. I mean, it was everywhere. So including all the rides. Most of the rides were just literally walk on. Sometimes the lines would look long when they really weren't, because everybody's got to be distant 6 feet, so it would look like, oh man, look how long the line is. You would get there, and as soon as you would start to walk to the next one, you never stopped. You would just wheel in. It would take 5 minutes to get in anything.
Awesome.
So it was good, but like I said, it wore on you a bit with the mask. Some of the only thing is some of the quick serve restaurants and stuff were closed. So there was some areas.
You get them big old turkey legs?
No.
Oh,
I know,
shit, man.
And it was interesting.
That's the whole reason to make the drive.
Yeah, among other things, right? And they wouldn't let you park hop. So you couldn't go, like we would go to one park for half the day and then go. You can't do that.
Shit.
No, you had to go. You went to one park one day and that was it. And then the next day you could go to a different one, but you can't. Because a lot of times you can just hop in your car and drive to another one.
I never got the park hop. I mean, the park hop to me is it's a gimmick kind of, depending, like if you have Aiden small and he can't go on half the stuff, then yeah, you can do it because you can cut off some of the things. But if you're able to go to everything, that's a money grab because it takes you the whole damn day to go to
right,
to
which
the
is
park.
Also why having annuals doesn't cost you anything. It's part of the annuals.
Yeah.
So we just hop around. And the good thing is it's something that they just started to not too long ago. They opened up they call it the Skyliner, but it's gondolas. So basically, and it's connecting a couple of the parks, meaning Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and then of course once you're at Epcot, then you can get on a monorail and take it to Magic Kingdom. So now you don't have to even get in the car to move.
Nice.
So you can just hop on one. It takes like 8 minutes to get over there. So if you want to go to a place, because there's times where we've rode up, we want to go to Animal Kingdom, and we just want to ride Everest. The roller coaster.
Yeah.
Literally, would go in there, go to the back, ride this thing, and leave, and just take off and go to another park. I'm not kidding. So
the benefits of an annual.
Well, there you go. But
how are the rides though? Now that you bring that up, as far
that
as
and that's another thing. I mean,
did they have people close to each other?
When we first got there and we got on the monorail, just to get over there, we had an entire car by ourselves. They were like separating everybody, and including the rides. So
if you had a ride of like 6 people normally, it would be what, 2?
Yeah. And that's also what sometimes could take time because they can only do so many people. So like a Haunted Mansion. When you go on the Haunted Mansion, everybody knows when you go in there, you go into the main dark room and it closes off and the guy says all that stuff and then you go to the next room. They just left everything wide open. You literally just bypassed all that stuff and went straight to the ride. They had to, they got to make some caveats to things like that. So it was modified. You got no character meet and greets. You would see a character once in a while, but they would be in a car and they'd be waving and drive by. That was it.
Yeah.
You weren't going to get, you're not going to get fireworks at the end of the night. You're not going to get anything that would cause people to congregate. So they're not going to have shows, like any of the stage shows that they do. So it was a lot of stuff missing. But it was still not here. And it was a way to get the fuck away from all this crap.
Yeah.
So it was good.
But overall, you were pleased with the safety measures.
Listen, like I said, I feel more worried when I go to Publix because of the jackasses that go there.
Yeah.
And the way people act and then when they do here. Everybody here at least takes it serious, and they were very serious about the way it was. Not to mention, there was so few people, you weren't near anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from passing somebody, you have these huge gaps.
That's good, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So it was good.
Now back to reality.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then I came back to work.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And obviously we got
back to the road and hurricanes that just missed us, and
that was another thing. We ended up having to come back a day,
yeah,
little bit early. We were going to come back Saturday morning because we went over on Thursday. We were going to go Friday and then come back Saturday in the morning. Well, that damn storm, and you never know what the hell they're going to do. It was like Saturday morning, 8 in the morning. We could start feeling effects, and it was supposed to rake right up the coast. So I'm like, well, fuck, I don't want to be driving in this all the way down.
That's
right. Like just dealing with wind and rain the whole way.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? We'll just screw it. We'll head back home about 5 o'clock. We're like, screw it. Let's just let the hotel know what's going on. We can get a refund because clearly there is a hurricane.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just come back home. So we came back home and nothing fucking happened.
Yeah.
So that's
we woke up. We were like, oh.
Yeah, knocked over a branch. I mean, you see like a stick fall on the ground.
Jacob's practice Saturday was canceled. It was like the most beautiful Saturday morning ever.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And that was another thing. It was like blazing sunny, and I'm like, I thought, wasn't this thing like literally right near us? And it did nothing.
I think it was a Friday, or because they had said it was going to come Sunday. It was Saturday, and then it was going to be Sunday. One of those days, she wanted me to bring in the barbecue in the back patio, the back table.
Right.
I was like, hell no.
Well, my father-in-law.
I'm like, hey, ain't nothing gonna happen.
He's like, hey, you think I should put up the shutters? I'm like,
what?
Like, first of all, talk to me when it's a Cat 3. Then we'll have a conversation about shutters. Until then, tropical storm, Cat 1, Cat 2, I don't care.
How about no, sir?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. My neighbor was the same way. He's like, I was thinking of putting, I'm like, and he's got the ones you got to screw them in. I'm like, I wouldn't even bother. Well, yeah.
Like me.
Yeah, me, I can do it the last second. But
well, I got the first floor, the screw-ins, the top.
Yeah, the top floor, you got the accordions, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen.
But I better be damn sure that trouble's coming.
And once it's up, it's staying up the
like
whole season. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean.
But listen, I mean, the thing is with these things, you never know. And quite frankly, I'm glad nothing happened.
No, of course.
So we got no damage, no nothing.
I'm glad nothing happened to the barbecue or the back table because I was told that if something happened to either one, I was going to buy another one.
Because you didn't move it.
Because I didn't move
exactly.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, the weekend was good. I mean, the rest of the weekend, because we came back a little early, it ended up just being clean the house. And because, it did rain for a few days, which had nothing to do with the hurricane.
Yeah.
It was just crappy weather.
Summers in South Florida.
Exactly. So, we ended up cleaning out the house and stuff. We got, a new bedroom set coming. So we got to deal with that. Taking all the clothes out. It's such a mission. It's like
such a mission to get brand new, nice things.
it's a pain in the butt, man. Yeah. It was, like I'm excited to get it because,
Yeah, we went through not even a year ago.
Yeah, you guys just went through it.
We got the new bedroom set, and I get it. Garbage bags, and it's like, if I ain't worn this shit in a month, it's fucking gone.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you got to do that because all of a sudden I'm like, why do I have no clothes hangers? Why am I I took them off the hangers, we washed them, and how come there's like did clothes on the floor jump up on there and grab the hangers at the last minute when I wasn't around? Like, where the fuck are the hangers? Like, who took them? I just took the clothes off.
You know how many times we've had extra hangers and you get rid of them and you're like, and then now like I'm stealing one from Christy every other day.
Yeah, you're like, what? Who's doing this? Yeah, man.
But
so yeah, whatever. But well, I know you're gonna say something.
Listen, I'm a little bit excited. I'm trying to control myself because in about an hour, these guys come back.
Oh yeah.
From the little hiatus.
Yeah, the players that.
Now who's gonna be playing? I don't know.
I can't see. I know. Teams
18
can't seem to.
between and 2 coaches, I think it was.
Yeah. Well, and every day. There's different.
Well, they've had now it's the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But so the Marlins, thank God, the Marlins have had 4 or 5 days now where they're clear to go. Okay. They've had negatives for 4 or 5 days.
Well, I saw today Stafford, quarterback for the Lions.
No shit.
Yeah. So it's it's seeped into some of the NFL teams. They just can't. I mean, listen, the NFL teams are not. I know they're trying to, but they're not in the bubble that the NBA is right now,
NBA's doing fantastic.
and they're doing great.
Fantastic.
So, but the problem is, you can confine the NBA because they play on courts. Then you can keep them in nice little
Yeah.
bubbles. Baseball doesn't work like that. Nor does NFL. Sorry, you need a lot more space.
Yeah.
Basketball can play on a little tiny ass court, and you can put courts together, and you can keep everybody in a little complex. You can't do that in well, especially the NFL. MLB, you can. I mean, there is some baseball complexes. It's more possible that way than it would be the NFL. It's just too big.
Yeah.
You know, so, and they're getting ready to start training camps. So it's funny. I saw a picture. They showed the face shield that the players are going to use, which is silly because the shield, it's just like the clear plastic that they sometimes wear, but now it's got more stuff over the mouth. But the mouths have these huge oval holes in it. So I'm like,
They have to breathe.
right. So doesn't that defeat the purpose?
Yeah,
There's
I think
holes.
so.
So how the fuck?
But again, I think a lot of these
That's
things
not
are
gonna
just,
work.
just measures that they're taking to say, okay, we're
did
doing
something.
something. We altered
Right.
something.
Right.
Listen, dude, I'm just happy to see Marlins baseball. I know we have, like I said, the majority of the bullpen got hit. Our starting catcher,
Yeah.
our starting shortstop, our starting second baseman, and we talked about it a little bit before. And this is a tricky one. So Isan Diaz, because he plays second, my son plays second, I play second in my has-been league. One of our favorites had that moment last year, hit the big home run. The father that I ended up meeting in a ball game, and so we're rooting for this kid. He's Puerto Rican, like my wife and my son, and he decided to opt out.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they asked me about it, and I said, well, it's a tough call. You're never going to blame anybody for worrying about their health. But him personally, like I was telling my brother, for his case, that's a tough call because he's not an established major leaguer. Like, this was a big season for him to say, hey, look, I'm the guy at second base. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and he could establish himself.
He could establish himself.
Yeah.
Or, if it didn't work out, unfortunately, the Marlins say, okay, we need to go elsewhere with this position because he's just not the
Right.
guy. Because he had some sparks last season, but he hit under 200. I mean, it was, I don't know, I'd be lying to you, if maybe 50 games or whatever, but maybe a little bit more.
Well,
but he hit,
yeah.
over 150 at-bats, he hit 200.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I just feel for him in the sense that I get the health concerns and all that stuff. Number one, you can get this virus just as well when you go back home because now you're not really controlled. Where we're now, the MLB,
they're
whether it's
constantly
followed or
checking.
not, but the
Yeah.
MLB's on your ass.
Yeah, they're constantly checking.
Making sure that so you're probably going to be safer in that environment than you are home where you have nobody to say, hey, look, don't go here, don't go there, don't do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for his case personally, it's like I told my brother, now if Rojas comes back from the virus, you can slide him over at second base or to second base. Then you have like Jazz Chisholm, that's a top shortstop prospect. You bring him up at some point this year.
Yeah.
He gets the job done. Who's the odd man out? Isan's not there to say, hey, no, remember me?
Yeah.
So I for his career, I kind of felt, kind of, not to mention, it's understandable. Again, health is number one, but it's a pool of 50, 60 players, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me there's not one, at least one. I mean, let's be real. That many players, you got a couple of assholes. You got a couple of really nice guys. You got a couple of great dads. You got a couple of shitbag dads. You got the guys that want to go out and have groupies. You have the guys that are loyal to their wives. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people. You don't have one or two guys that are like, yo, fuck this guy. He left us like that. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
In the locker room?
Of course you're going to get that.
And like Nick Markakis with the Braves, he was out he initially opted out about 2-3 games into the season.
Okay.
He came back. And he said, and I quote, I felt like I was letting my team down. We're in this together. And so, again,
Maybe.
I wish Isan the best, and I hope he comes back and kills it, but it's a tough blow. As a fan and as a kid who's trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the chance to live out your dream and be an MLB player.
I know.
And shitting every team
I
when you
know.
come back, bro.
And he's not the only one, and not just baseball. I've seen football guys do it. But it is true. I haven't seen any real heavyweights say that, and maybe it's because they figure, well, I'm not starting, and baseball's a little different because in the NFL, unless someone gets injured, sometime, and it can happen.
Yeah.
You already know you ain't getting reps in practice. You're not gonna see the field unless someone gets injured. You're not coming in. So maybe they're thinking, is it worth it? I don't know, but I hear you.
But it's like
And you know what though? I will say this though. To that, at least for them, you already know guys could be sitting at home drinking a beer on a couch. Somebody gets injured on Monday Night Football, and you're like, I'm going to definitely be getting a call. And they'll get a call, and they'll literally have to get over there.
Yeah.
So it could happen, whether you're there or home.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what
But
you're
just
saying.
for him personally, because it's not like if Mike Trout, thank God, for all baseball fans, Mike Trout ended up playing, with the exception that he missed a few games. His son was born on the 30th, so congrats to him. He'll never see this, but but for first time dad. But so let's say he would have opted out. Okay, Mike Trout would have came back in 2021, and been second batter like he is now, playing center field.
Yeah, he'd still be all-star.
Write him in.
Yeah.
No problem.
Right.
This kid it's not that situation.
Yeah.
It's a guy trying to prove himself.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit, as a fan, just rough to be like, damn, dog, really? But
I guess he's got his reasons.
yeah.
I don't know.
And then the NBA, like we said, has been doing fantastic. Nobody, with the Heat, everyone's been fine.
I'll be honest, though, aside from a couple highlights, I haven't seen anything. I have not.
So they don't have the cardboard fans. They have I didn't even realize
the screens, right?
The screens, but
Yeah,
I didn't
and they're
realize
super low.
where you have like a home team. And so if like yesterday, I think it was, they were playing. No, it's hilarious. They were playing the Raptors, but they're the home team. So they have the graphics set up so it's like the home fans of Miami. Let's go Heat! Let's go Heat! If an opposing player is on the free throw line, you got the screen and it's like the people like.
The guy that's doing that's got to really pay attention.
No, but let me tell you.
He's like this sleeping.
I know.
The whole team scored.
I know. Talking about it, it seems mad cheesy.
Well, I mean, it's the best they can do.
It works because when you're watching the game, I'm telling you, just like with the baseball with the cardboard thing, when you're watching the game, I'm watching the Heat play yesterday, and I'm like, this shit doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel weird at all. It feels like I'm watching an NBA game, which is what they're going for.
I'm wondering how long it's going to be until they do start letting some fans. And the reason why, go to the games, not just NBA, but MLB, and the only reason I say that is because, remember I talked a few weeks back when NASCAR was already running their races. This is before NBA or anybody played a game. They were already running the races with obviously no fans. Well, now they're letting some fans, and I don't know the policies, but there's some fans in the stands. I don't know how many they're letting in. I don't know whatever, but they're there.
I'm surprised that from the jump it wasn't like that because it's really not that damn difficult. If you have a stadium, if you have Marlins Park that has, let's say, capacity for 40,000.
Oh no, you could do it. I absolutely agree.
Sell 5,000 tickets,
which is pretty much what they would sell anyway.
Jesus, yeah.
You already got
I
to set
love
yourself
that
up for
shit
that one.
for you. I loved it for you. Yeah, just slam it home. No, but for real, and how hard is it to figure out? Okay, section 15, seat 1. Okay, the next seat's gonna be seat 5, or sign a waiver, and if Danny and Joey are going together, two dudes want to go see a baseball game, and they want to maybe even you guys are together. Okay, at least have a seat apart.
Right. Well, listen.
Whatever.
If they can have, and this goes for Universal, Disney, and
but
these
they're costing themselves money not doing that.
If you can have these theme parks open and have people going, you can open a stadium. There, you sit, you're stationary. The other ones, you're walking around, people are passing by, you're getting on rides. Come on.
You didn't see, I think it was in Indiana. They had it's the only, was it Indiana or Iowa or one of them? I don't know. Where they had their high school season was allowed to continue. And so this was the state baseball championship. And there was a great shot, and they were like, this is how it can be done. They had that shit in I think it was a minor league park. But you had this group here, that group there, that group there. Again, if you want to sign a waiver and you want to sit with the people you came with, fine. But the next people were nowhere near you. And MLB's like, yo, that can work. If MLB would do it like that, that can work.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think, this season's a short season. I think by next season, if we're not back to normal, which, shit, I think you can
I
figure
hope
out.
so,
I
but-
think you can figure out a way to sell tickets that are not together, and and the same thing with concessions and all that stuff. Put those signs on the damn floor. And
I know.
I
Well,
think
you know
they
what?
can make it work, because I'd
Something I
love to
saw-
go see a baseball game.
Something I saw, and I didn't even mention earlier, when you were in line and you were going past, even though they had the things on the ground, you know, they have the metal railings in between and you kind of do the zigzag.
Right.
In between those, they actually had plexiglass partitions, almost like hockey, on each one, on most of the stuff that you went to. So it was a way to, I guess, separate people, even when they knew they were passing people.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't do that everywhere, because when you're walking out everywhere, you can't. But in controlled environments like that, they had that. They also had sanitizing stations for every time you were getting onto something, you know, going into the line and getting off. And then they had them everywhere else. So they had it. It's just,
There's things you can do.
There's
to
a way
be-
you can
know,
do it.
there's a
But like
way
I
you can do
said,
it.
I'm sorry, if you can have, you know, and there's, as much as it looked empty, there's still going to be thousands of people there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like it. You
And
can
I
do
think,
that.
I think as a society, we need that, man. We need to
Yeah.
get out of the house,
And
man.
just like you said, to the point you said that, hopefully by next year, you know, they have whatever. I'm still saying 3 years. I'm not saying 3 years.
Jesus Christ.
No, but I'm not saying 3 years as in it's going to be like this, but I'm saying 3 years to get back to normal. Normal.
I haven't seen. I've seen like the articles, but I haven't really gone. You know,
Believe me, I hope I'm
gone
wrong.
hard on the articles where these vaccines. Like, what have you heard?
Oh, well, I know that there's, like I said, there's several groups of these scientists that are doing stuff. Johnson & Johnson
That's the one. Yeah.
they were the biggest one that they were talking about this week. There's another group.
If we can't trust
Moder-
Johnson & Johnson, who can we trust?
Moderna, I know. Well, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna has come up with one, and I think they're in phase 3. I think there's a total of 4 phases when it comes to this. And I can't tell you how long they last. I don't know all that. I do know that Moderna had to do what I was reading. It was you would get an injection, and then I think within 4 weeks you had to get another one in order to, I guess, sustain your immune, the strength of your immune system.
You want to go be a test subject?
Where Johnson & Johnson's apparently was a single dose was strong enough to sustain. So, and they've had good results so far.
By 2021, they have to have this figured out, right?
I was hoping by the end of the
Say
year.
yes,
I was hoping by the
man.
end of the
Just say
year.
yes, but by
I am.
2021,
Yeah. I mean, listen, but think about this. Let's say that they come up with something. Let's say December. We've got a vaccine and we're going to start making them. Even though the U.S. just signed a contract with them. I think it was like a $100 million contract.
Right.
I'm sorry. It was $1.5 billion to make 100 million doses of the vaccine. But you got to understand, they then have to like divvy that out. So
that's not going to cause chaos.
who gets it? Well, no, because think about it.
Give me your vaccine, fool.
You're gonna have these. I'm not taking any vaccine. You're gonna have the no vaxxers, and you're gonna have all that crap. But what I mean by normal,
I
what
am more
mean is
concerned with the treatment than a vaccine. Not a big fan of vaccines.
right. But I just think about it. If you go where they start giving out the vaccine, right, or a cure. Let's say they give a Z-Pack, almost like antibodies, and they start getting, and it starts knocking it down. All right, that's great. But we've got literally millions upon millions, and by then, where are we going to be? Because we've already got millions upon millions of cases, millions. So you've got to get it down to controllable numbers to where we can pretty much get to the point where it's going to be, it will eventually roll itself down to be eradicated. That's the goal. So is it going to be next year? Fuck no. I don't think so. Because just the sheer numbers we're going to have, we're not going to be able to get it down that close.
Well,
here's
what
the
number
thing.
does it have to be to
No.
bring us back to normal?
Well, the point I was going to say was it doesn't have to be at 0 for us to be back to normal. What I mean is if we are trending down and these things are working, most likely the mask will come off.
Right.
At that point, yes, you're back to normal. I'm just saying. Now listen, I hope I'm wrong. It's just how I see it. I'm a negative fucking person sometimes.
It's all right.
I'm sorry. It's just the way I look at it, and I'm like, I just know the way we have been. We've been extremely irresponsible. A bunch of societies, half the people are taking it serious, half don't give a crap. They're protesting about masks, like just ridiculousness. So This is why we're going to take that long. Not because we can't get it done. Of course we can get it done. But because we're going to be our own worst enemy, which is, it rolls into a lot of things we always do. We're always our worst enemy. So that's where I come from that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I know we're coming up on time. Let's go back to baseball real quick because I wanted to get your take on Yoenis Cespedes. You didn't hear anything about
I did not.
what happened. So let me give you the Cliff Notes version of it. Sunday, game time is 1 o'clock. The Mets have a game at 1 o'clock. So I don't know what time teams vary, what time they have to be at the ballpark. Let's just say 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay? So where's Yoenis? I can't find him. Okay, cool. So all over the news now, Mets cannot find Yoenis Cespedes. The Mets wasted no time to put it out there, MLB Network and all this shit. We can't find this dude. We don't know where he's at. Somehow, some way, they find out, okay, we do know he's in good health, but we don't know where he's at. So people are like, the fuck?
But how do you know
Right.
you're in good health, but you don't know where you're at?
Right. So then it comes out that so the game starts. Obviously, he's not there. They had sent security to his room, empty as fuck, his hotel room. Okay. They find out.
Are we allowed to drop F-bombs? We've been doing it all day.
Who watches this? My mom. Sorry. You raised me right. I just, every now and again I slip.
That is true.
But so about 30 minutes, an hour before the game finishes, and again, the time, who the hell knows? But management finds out from his agent that he has decided to opt out of this season.
Just randomly. I'm done. Wow.
Now,
didn't they have to
Now
fill
there's
out-
reports that, look, the Mets handled this wrong. Yoenis handled it wrong. I think most people that know this story, and again, there's some facts that are probably not 100% true either way because it was kind of handled shitty by both parties, but most people can admit it was handled shitty by both parties. But I'm more now about the player who has to face a locker room of teammates. That's a douchey fucking thing to do, bro.
So, you want to get my take on that? So, do you know any facts really, other than just what we've heard? Just basically,
he
like
decided
what you just told me.
he decided to opt out. My thing is, we both, not professional, but we both played sports our whole damn life. Okay. You don't leave your team like that.
Well, no.
You don't, dude. You show up Sunday, pregame. You call your teammates, however socially distant you call a team meeting nowadays. I don't know, fucking Zoom everybody. I don't know how you do it. And you express to them their concerns. I think that would have gone over a lot better. You tell management, look, I want to talk to the players, and do that the right way. Dude just vanished. So now, I don't know, probably should have found out before we brought it up, but I don't know how much longer he has on that deal. But remember, he signed like a massive deal with the Mets.
Yeah.
So now what? What do you do with that guy? Because how does he have the balls to come back into the locker room at some point? And
Well,
obviously the teammates, I've heard from like Conforto and Brandon Nimmo and all them, no one's throwing him under the bus. But you can kind of tell they're pretty upset with, about the way it was handled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, regarding the way it was handled, I know that there was a deadline for the NFL as far as for the players. So I'm assuming MLB had something in place where you had to do that. Like there's probably a procedure in order to opt out.
Well,
now, other than
you
just
forfeit the money.
I get
but
it.
I don't know if there's an.
What I mean is there's got to be a process of letting the team know. Other than just
whether there's an official whether there's an official opt out date or not, the right thing to do is talk to your team.
I agree. But my thing is this, because I know you said they're both, because he sounds like a douche to me. So how, in your eyes, why are the Mets also responsible for this?
What I'm reading is that they were really quick to put it out there, kind of like throwing him under the bus, in other words. That instead of trying to figure out what was what, they kind of put it out there
That we
to
can't find
the
him.
nation that he couldn't be found. When I also heard when it was, they had gone earlier and checked the hotel, and then of course now the agent's like, no, we let them know beforehand, so it's like that.
So
He
the
said,
agent,
she said
the
bullshit.
agent says they know beforehand. So beforehand, let's say
It wouldn't have made the freaking news.
he's saying the team knows, and then they still put it out that they didn't know.
Right.
I don't
But my
believe that
thing
for
is,
1 minute.
even if the agent, they let them know beforehand, and I get it's pro sports, and you and I can never and will never relate to that.
They know where their
It's
players are at all
sports.
times.
But not only that, your agent contacted the front office.
Right.
You're the motherfucker cashing all these checks.
Exactly.
You don't want to talk to the owner and all that stuff. You want to have the agent do that? Okay, whatever. Not classy in my book,
Right.
but your teammates.
Yeah.
Your agent's not playing with these people. You are.
Yeah.
Have a talk. And I mean, who's gonna tell you you're a freaking idiot? No, you're concerned about your health. I get it, or whatever. Because now that's another thing. Now they're saying this motherfucker ain't concerned about no corona.
No.
He just wanted out.
He just
which
wanted
is
out.
weird because he's
Because that's
forfeiting a lot of money.
And that's what it sounds like.
But
I mean, I could be wrong. But yeah, my thing is, I don't blame. You know what? I don't blame even if the. I can't see this because check this out, and me and you know better than this. If the team doesn't put that out and then something happens or something was really wrong, what would they have said?
Why did the team
Why
put
did
it
the
out?
team wait?
Yeah.
So when the team puts it out, well, why the fuck did they put it out now? You can't win. So they will probably. I'm with them. Put it out. Screw it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Every team, and again, I don't know the backstory, but I do know that if you don't know where your player's at, professional players don't just go AWOL. You're literally in your hotel with the rest of your team. Everybody knows. Everybody gets on the bus. There's no bullshit with that. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, he's the jackass. I'm not putting anything on the team for that. They might be mad that the team put it out there. Oh well. Then next time handle it.
don't
better.
do shit.
Then handle it better next time. Sorry. Yes, he should have told his teammate. So yeah, that's ridiculous. You kidding me? No, man. You don't do that. You don't do that to your teammates. You don't do that to the team. And you don't do that to the organization.
And the fans.
Yeah.
And the fans.
That's what I'm saying. You just don't.
My son is 12 and I teach him, you know how I am with him about like, I mean, you have to be really, really, really sick. I mean, well, now it's COVID, so you got to sore throat, you got to stay home. Hasn't had that happen, so thank God. But before all this, like,
Yeah.
oh, you don't want to go to practice today because you're tired, you don't feel great. You got 11 other dudes, you know, expecting for you to contribute. You show up. You show up. I can't believe this guy, you know, again, it's money and all that stuff, but you gotta have the money and also keep your character. I just thought it was a real poor taste, and again, I'm with you. I don't give a shit what the organization did wrong, putting on him for or not. The dude's the multi-millionaire with that fat ass contract,
Yep.
and he's the guy playing with the team. He's got to communicate that with the team. He's got to do it in person, or again, if you want to Zoom everybody, but do it before the game. Don't do it where they're not blindsided game day.
That's what I'm saying. And then on top
Like
of that,
Zoom meet him, you know, you're in your hotel room, I'm in mine, and do it the night before.
yeah, not
Not the day of the game where those dudes came expecting
or they're
their
not out there
slugger,
doing warm-ups, and you're like,
their
hey.
slugger, yeah, expecting them to be there. So
So now that's going to follow him the rest of his career.
of course,
Because now teams are
and
gonna
he
be-
doesn't have the best rep as it is.
That's what I'm saying. So now teams are going to be like, well, we can sign this guy for a lot of money, but he could just up and be like,
oh, he's not getting
whatever.
that contract. Regardless, he's already.
And then and now you got
he's not
teammates that are
peaking.
like,
He's declining.
Yeah.
He's not.
And then-
he's had
and then-
injuries and shit. And
yeah, and then teammates might be like, well, he would just at the drop of a hat leave us hanging anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might follow him. It might not. But like you said, he doesn't have the best rep as it is.
Yep. So
That's it.
we're getting up there in time, and you got to drive ahead of you. You want to wrap it for today?
Yeah. I still got more stuff for next time anyway.
We got to start making notes, man.
I know.
All right,
Even
brother.
when we have notes, it doesn't matter, bro. We just go.
We'll be back next week, man. We've been doing better.
All right,
you
bro.
know.
Episode.
So
I don't even
this
know.
is,
what
I think, 9 or 10.
Are we about to get in double digits? Maybe
We're about to
we
get
got
double digits, bro. But
Jeez.
all right, deuces.
Peace.